Hello, how are you guys doing? Yesterday in the morning, I taught Orks how to play Warhammer, and inadvertently, probably a few of you guys. Today's stream, I'm just going to be doing, well, I've got tiermaker.com here. Someone's already set up a list of all of the factions in Warhammer, and so I'm just going to give my opinion of the competitive tier list that exists. Norks is here. How you doing? Gmax is here. Jagneric, how are you guys doing? He's having a good one. This is... So... I'm gonna... More Warhammer, yes. Yes. Yes, it is more Warhammer. So, real quick, before we get into this, I do want to say a couple of things. First off, the date is currently October 27th. The, Imperial, whatever it's called, the Forge World crap book has just been announced like yesterday, and it's coming out Friday, or at least the pre-orders are coming out. We've got no FAQ for the Necron book. We've got no FAQ for the Space Marines. They are the only two codexes that are out at the time of speaking. So the reason I'm bringing that up is for when this changes in the future. I'm not wrong. That's just what I thought at the time. And you can fight me on this if you want, especially when it's live. But I'm going to try and future-proof this a bit by saying that I think, generally speaking, what's going to happen is codexes are probably going to go up or down to whenever a new codex comes out. So let's say Orks are next. I would expect that they're going to jump up another ranking from wherever I put them. And maybe other armies go down because they're not good against that, and so on and so forth. And then when the next book comes out, things are going to shift a little bit. But I have a feeling that, generally speaking, the power level is going to increase over the times, so it's going to go up. This is a Rev Hyperfixation info dump stream. So, cool. So here's the tier list. I figure, you know, the way that everyone starts their tier lists online with anything, which if you have any recommendations for things that you want me to do tier lists of, let me know. It doesn't have to be Warhammer or video games or things I know about. I don't care. Just tell me things that you want me to rank. I think it'd be a cool idea for a stream. Let me go ahead and dump out my tea bag, and then I'm going to go ahead and start with the top, because everyone starts at the top when they do these tier things. So that way people can immediately judge you, and then everything else can go in, you know, and then you go from the, so that way people can leave once the, once, you know, what the top tier thing is. So clearly, top tier, Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights. Where's the book? Where's the picture for the Imperial Knights? Where are they? I'll find them in a second. I mean, God, listen, first off, I know you're going to be like, hey, they can't play the primaries. And listen to me. Here they are. I know that Knights can't play the primaries, okay? That's fine, because guess what? They also can't play the secondaries. And in fact, they're barely mobile because everything in the game has some sort of way of preventing you from moving. So you can't move, you can't shoot, you can't get into combat because you can't move. What was I talking about again? Maybe, I mean, they do give up quite a few secondaries. In fact, if you look in the GT pack, and you look at the secondaries they give up, literally all of Purge the Enemy, these armies give up. And Obscuring works where you can be shot at, but they can't be. So I'm actually going to go ahead and move these guys down to F tier. Never mind. Hey, wife, how are you? Tilda's here. Yeah, Knights are in a rough spot. They were built with 8th edition in mind, and I feel like a lot of it is that they are paying for the sins of their past. They're just awkward right now. How's work, sweetheart? So for D tier, and I'm going to probably wiggle these around a bit once we get the other ones in. I think D tier is probably Tau. Oh, thank you, Natalie. Who are the two F tier? Knights. They just don't. If you're gonna make a knight army, I would say go with like war dogs or armigers, depending. Make all of your stuff characters because they can only take purge the enemy once on one thing. So they can't take all of the secondaries against you, and these are all gonna be like mono codex. Just because, yeah, if you splash him with something like, obviously knights are at the bottom. If you splash anything that's at a higher tier, your chances of winning will go up. I just feel like without other codexes, knights are just bad. They can't do any of the scrambler secondaries. They can't do any of the psychic secondaries aside from Abhor the Witch, but no one brings more than a handful of psychers, probably like one outside of a couple factions, which we'll get into and you already know. They're just not good. They just don't. They deserve to be higher because they're cool models. I almost bought some because I was like, those are rad, but I was like, nah, I don't really have the money for that because I'm not gonna play them, and you know the whole. And then 9th edition dropped and they're bad. All right, I love you, sweetheart. I'll see you when you get home. Have a good day at work. I feel like Tau are probably better than people are giving them credit for. Tau are in an awkward spot where the build that they had during 8th edition just does not work. Like, you just cannot run Tau with the broadsides and stuff like that. Like, you gotta use a different list. They're very mobile, so you have that option, which makes them better than knights. You have infantry stuff. You can do stuff with them. I think a good Tau list is going to involve probably some weird stuff. Like, you're going to have to go outside the box with Tau if you're going to like play them to any competitive level. I think what you could do is probably, and this is a weird one, and this is a stretch. I don't play that much Tau, so excuse me if I get this wrong. Farsight Enclave, right? With the Sunshark Bombers. Have a stratagem for 3 CP if you use all of them, which you should, that you can do D3 mortal wounds on a 4-up to everyone within a certain distance of them. That can be super solid against stuff like Custodes. This isn't good. It's still not a good army, but it's better than what you've got, because trying to castle up and be in one tight little spot means all of the board control options that you have with your incredible speed is bad. So you got to work to your advantage that you've got. You're fast. If you do Farsight, then you don't have to worry about you don't really have to worry about the fact that you don't have as many marker lights anymore. You don't have to depend on shield drones with the planes. You could do hammerheads as well, I guess. I'm stretching. I'm really stretching to try and get something to make Tau work, and they just don't. C tier. It's gonna be both Nids and Genestealer Cult, if I can find the Genestealer Cult logo. Nids I feel like could be better. I feel like in proper hands, Nids can be better. I just cannot find the logo for. There they are. Nids I feel like could be better. A lot of 9th edition is about board control, holding objectives. Yeah, you give up thin their ranks, but so do Orks, and they're at a higher tier than you. I think a lot of it comes from lower strength attacks than Orks have and stuff like that. They just aren't durable at any degree. They're pretty bad. Genestealer Cult falls into a bit of a trap of being very character dependent and needing a lot of detachments, which was great in 8th, but now in 9th when you have to pay for each of those, it's no. I don't think Genestealer is the way to go. But Tyranids, I do think that there is a possible list there. Now, that being said, the only Tyranid players that I've played in recent memory, one of them I think was fairly new to the game, and the other guy was, I want to say high off his ass on Dimetap, so he wasn't making very good moves. So maybe they can be better. I think one thing that really brings Tyranids down is that no one has the just weird fanatical love that Orks have. Like, Orc players will play Orks regardless of how shit they are. They will play them no matter what. Tyranid players, I do not feel like they have that kind of stuff. And that hurts them quite a bit because no one's trying to figure out how that works. I bet you it's in there somewhere. I think you just carpet the whole thing with, like, fucking gene stealers. And you could probably do something half decent there. I think also the lack of unstoppable green tide equivalent is bad. I'm not a huge fan of Tyranids playing them, even though I play Orcs. I just don't find that style of play very interesting. So beer tier, there's quite a few in this tier, and we might have to shuffle a few things down in order to make room. I feel like Astra Militarum are probably B tier, and I should say, I think the way that this tier list works is you could probably beat someone that's maybe a tier or two above you if you are a better player than that person or you have a better constructed list. Astra Militarum have a lot of options through Tempestus Scion that are just the correct profile. Cheap, shit ton of plasma. This is like competitive viability. I'm not talking about coolness, and we're talking about monofaction only. If you mix some of this stuff, you could probably mix Knights in with, Astra Militarum and have a decent army. You could have a decent army, but it would be leaning heavily onto Astra Militarum. And I feel like Knights they've got such weird profiles for their weapons that it's targeting a meta that doesn't exist, that it can't see and can't move to. Fun fact about vehicles, which Knights are, they fucking can't move through forests. People don't get that. Forests can only be moved through by infantry, beasts, and swarm. And they're not that, so they can't move through forests. So that giant forest that you put down, your Knights can't go through it. They've got to go around. And there's so much terrain on the field that just Knights can't do it. So that's the reason I've put Knights down so low, is they can't move to objectives and they give up too many kill points and they can't defend themselves. They're just bad at everything in ninth. Astra Militarum, however, if you do a mix of armored column sort of stuff with your regular stuff, and then you've got a bunch of Tempestus Scion coming from either Valkyries or dropships or Orbit or whatever. The fact that the models are so cheap per guy, you don't care about overcharging. And then you can order them to reroll their ones. You just do not care. You're going to be fine. And you can shoot those strength, I think they're 8, plasma guns into Marines at close range. So you're double tapping. You're going to kill quite a few Space Marines with that. You're going to kill quite a few Space Marine equivalents with Astra Militarum Tempestus Scion. I feel like that is a solid build, and you don't need a whole lot of help. You just play to the fluff of those two factions, those two sides of Astra Militarum, and you'll be fine. Also on this tier, I feel like our Chaos Space Marines, and I'm probably ranking them higher than they should be. I cannot figure out a good build for Chaos right now. A lot of people are leaning into Emperor's Children with Noise Marines and the remnant of whatever the fuck, Fulgrim's Panties, that relic that you can use, and then it makes all of the guys just go ballistic as soon as they see him. That's rad. I don't think that's necessarily the right way to go. I really like Alpha Legion and World Eaters for the sake that you can do a forward deploy with both of their stratagems. I think Alpha Legion's probably slightly better because of the wording of Master of Deception, where you can put some Terminators down on the field, some Plasma Terminators down, and then as soon as your opponent goes, okay, so I won the roll-off, you go, okay, cool, I'm going to redeploy some guys, and those Terminators can go back into Deep Strike. There's absolutely no reason that they can't. Rules as written, that's fine right now. They'll probably get errated as soon as their book comes out, but for now that's legal. The Chaos lists that are winning right now are splashing a bit of demons. They're, doing mono Chaos is probably hard. A couple old tricks that I've found that are kind of neat is if you bring and just listen to me before you close out the video. If you bring a Word Bearer's detachment with a Demon Prince and you give him warp time. You will always get warp time off because of that stratagem, and allows you to move those berserkers or whatever you've put moving forward 9 inches up the field just a little bit more. That ensures a 3-inch charge re-rolling with berserkers onto whatever their front lines is. That's good. Quotes. It's not great, but if you need a guy to always cast a very specific spell, that can be great. I've tried to mess around with a build that has a word bearer's something or other sorcerer that just stands in the middle and does the ritual, but you put like a whole bunch of fucking weird like skull altars to give him minuses to cast, so he fails his cast, and then you can use the stratagem, and then he always succeeds and your opponent can't counter it. It's rad. Cool. It's still not good. They're probably closer to C tier, but I don't want them to be C tier. I want them to be better than that. Grey Knights, and I'm just going to throw Thousand Suns on there as well. Giving up Abhor the Witch is really bad. However, not that many people are actually running No Psychers. Most people run 1, just that way they don't give up Abhor the Witch. So I feel like that's a fear of something that doesn't exist. Maybe it's just the meta that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with a very bizarre meta. I'll be real with you. They can spam out Mortal Wounds like nobody's business. The fact that you can't smite spam as well as you used to be able to sucks. But when you're going against stuff like Custodes and Death Guard and all that kind of crap, you just want to pump out tons and tons of Mortal Wounds because they can't deal with that invuln. Like, they don't have an invuln against that. They don't have a save. They just take damage, and that's great. Mortal Wounds in high excess are the key to winning this game in a lot of ways. Durability and the ability to smite out anything is great. Ryltor, thank you for the 16 months of support. Let's see. I'm going to put Eldar at this tier as well. They are probably also in that weird case where they could be better if anyone bothered. Yeah, you could. They're fast. They've got a lot of good spells, but I think solo army, I don't think you can do craft worlds all that interestingly. They used to be crazy in 8th. They used to be great in 8th. But now I feel like you use them as a little bit of a splash with Drukhari or Harlequins, and you've got something decent. Speaking of, Drukhari, I think they're A tier. They're good. They are a very solid army. They've got a lot of answers. The fact that you always wound on 4s with poison weapons is great. Because when you run into Space Marines or Death Guard, you know, Death Guard, they've got toughness 5. You can only wound that on 5s with your weapons normally. But yeah, there you go. You're great. Kind of like a lot of strategies, Agents of Vect isn't that great. Can I make the screen bigger? Yes, I can. Give me 1 second. I will do that. Let me just go a little bit bigger. I'm still going to be doing the stream tonight with Aisha. We're going to be doing Homestuck. So I don't know what my demographic is anymore because I'm talking about Warhammer prior to a Homestuck stream. But, you know, they make a Grim Dark reference, and that's a Warhammer reference. There we go. Drukhari just have a lot of good tools. Agents of Vect isn't as good as it used to be. It's just kind of whatever. But they're good. They're very solid. They're very all-aroundy. I don't play them enough to know exactly all of their little things. So there's that. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to put Necron up on A tier just because I've heard they're good. But I honestly have not played Necrons since their codex came out. Well, no, I played one guy. And it was Orks versus Necrons. And the guy fully deployed on the line, which is already a bad decision against Orks. And then he lost the roll-off. And I jumped my tank bustas behind his lines. It's literally that meme where it's like, I jump my 30 boys behind you, Mr. Bond. Wog. Like, it's literally that meme, except for instead of, Space Marines, I just jumped it behind the Silent King, who I guess is a vehicle? So I crashed my plane into him, and then I shot him with all of the tank busters. I used Mordaka and just melted the Silent King like one round. Like, I rolled pretty okay, but yeah. So I've heard they're good. They've got OBSEC as an option if you make your own custom dynasty. They've got a lot of cool stuff going on for them, but I honestly have no idea what the hell they do. But people tell me they're good, so I'm putting them up at A tier. Why would they do that? I played a really bad Necron player, and so that's why I don't think I've played Necrons since their codex has come out. The guy didn't know what he was doing. He allowed me to do a lot of garbage to him. Like, I took down a quarter of his army really easy. And a half-decent Necron player could probably beat some decent stuff, but it's, I don't know. I don't know what they do. I'll be real. I'll have to wait until I get to play them a couple more times until I can get a really solid thing. I'm going to put or Adeptus Mechanicus up here as well. They're a gunline army with a lot of vehicles. That makes them kind of bad in 9th edition. They also have very not durable bodies. That's kind of bad in 9th edition. They've got some new cool toys, but their main thing is shooting. They do have indirect shooting, which is nice. But they just don't have the ability to stay around. They play like Tau should. Yeah, I'd say that's right. So I think they're maybe closer to B than A, but they're somewhere in that region. Remember when everyone was like, oh my god, because Mechanicus is going to be so good. Adeptus Mechanicus is going to be so OP. And look at how the mighty have fallen. Horde is dead, guys. Melee is dead, guys. I heard them say. Bullshit. Anyway, that's all I've got to really say about them. And then Sisters. I feel like Sisters are doing pretty good. That is not Sisters. That is Dark Angels. It's not time for the Gay Marines yet. Sisters of Battle. They are solid, but they only really have one build. So if they ever actually get to be fairly good, I feel like the meta will be able to, take them out pretty significantly. It's basically Repentia spam, as far as I've seen. If there's any other build of Sisters that exists, I don't know. They're solid, and they are good counter to some of the stuff that exists, but they just they die a little too easy. A lot of the A tier stuff is just, it dies a little too easy. And it could be better, but it's not really there right now. But they do have those Repentia, and those are nice. Miracle Dice are, lol, Miracle Dice. Those are fucking great. Honestly, abuse the shit out of that and you have a good time. Next up, Chaos Demons. They've been winning tournaments, and I feel like S tier is probably where we're going to start getting into stuff where it has like multiple different good builds. And Chaos Demons, like, basically if you don't pick something that has the corn keyword or chariot, you probably have a decent, just don't use the heavy stuff, and don't use the chariots, and don't use the corn stuff. And you do that, and you just make 2,000 points of whatever that is, and you have a good army. Slanesh is good. Nurgle is good. Beasts of Nurgle are great. I don't know if they're still in. They're S, I would say not A. Yeah, they are very solid. They have all of the right tools that they need in order to be doing good in 9th edition. They have board control. You can monster mash if you'd prefer. Just bring all of the greater demons, make them exalted, and have a good time. Yeah, why not? There's literally not a demons build that I can think of that's bad, and they honestly bring up Chaos Space Marines and stuff like that fairly significantly, because you can just throw them into any list, and just a splash, even a patrol of demons, makes your army so much better. Furies being able to be like cheap as chips, 45 points I think for 5, and they can do actions because they're infantry. It's great. I can't think of a outside of Khorne, cavalry, or chariot and heavy stuff. I can't think of a single bad Chaos Demon unit. They're just solid. They're good units. Like, you use them appropriately and you're good. You have no ranged options, which I think is your only downside, but there's not enough like line of sight. I feel like a lot of 9th edition is you don't have anything in the heavy support slot is heavy stuff. I'm gonna go and throw Harlequins up here as well. Harlequins have a lot of cool tools that minus 6 inches to your range. That's rad. They've got lots of little tricksy things. They have pseudo fly, clowns, space juggalos, S tier. It's great. Again, everything I feel like that you're probably not going to be able to get more than 36 inches of range before you run into a wall, probably closer to 24. So shorter inch range guns that the Harlequins have are fine. They have all of the tricks they need. They are weirdly durable with their 4-up invuln, and you can have enough of them that they'll be solid. They'll be great. Don't even worry about it. Custodes. You're S tier. They have like one build. And it's good. You put the Aloris in Deep Strike, and then you get that banner, and you drop the guys down, and then you're good. It's great. Except for the fact that it's slow. Incredibly slow. So when I play against Custodes, what I do is I bait them to a corner, and then as soon as they go there, I just walk away from that, and their range is not enough that they can catch up with me, and it's fine. I should say I play Orks and Chaos, if you're not aware. Orks are my main army. Chaos are my little dabbly thing because I like the models, and so I try and make them work, but I'm sad because they don't work. Death Guard, I feel like, sort of like Chaos Demons, just pick a unit and build your army towards that direction. Like, oh, okay, you like the death, you got the Plague Marines, those are your favorite? So yeah, just build towards that. Great. You like the vehicles? Okay, cool. Give them, Contaminated Monstrosity if they're not one of the Codex guys and they're one of the weird Chaos Space Marine editions. And you throw in, Poxmongers and you're good. It's to just continue to be solid no matter what build you do. They are slow but durable, and that is a solid way to deal with things. Custodes, by the way, have objectives secured on everything. Death Guard have objectives secured on enough stuff. Their limited model count is the only reason that I think that they're not S+. It's great. Death Guard are good right now, and you don't really need to splash in Nurgle Demons, but you can. It's a solid choice if you feel like it. And then lastly, I'm going to throw Orks up there. Because I think they are a sleeper hit, which is hilarious because they keep winning tournaments and people are like, Horde is dead, guys. There's just nothing that could be done about it. Horde is dead. There's absolutely no way to play Horde. It's just bad now. Especially like, Horde's bad and Melee's bad and God, there's just no way to run it. And just so I'm just not going to bring any anti-horde stuff. I'm just going to bring high damage stuff. I'm going to bring eliminators. I'm going to bring like 20 eliminators. And I'm like, that's cool. I have a 5-up save. And you shoot 20 shots. They all hit. And I save like a third of that. And that's your turn. So like, what? Like, let's do the math on that. Let's say it is 20 shots. And I don't honestly know how many they've got. That's 13 boys that die. 13 boys die because you use all of your eliminator shots into my Ork Horde because I didn't bring anything that you could actually shoot at. The pig titty goth boyfriend is great. I love Gaz, but I can never fit into my list. The fact that he's $40 with Makari is just kind of sad, and I don't really feel like running him. I've been running Death Skulls exclusively, because for whatever reason, my local meta is not Space Marines. So it doesn't matter that I don't get the +1 strength. The thing about Orks is like, listen, if you want to go the buggy list, all of the buggies are great. Bring one of the buggies, like the shock jump dragster is good. The scrapjack megajet is good. The slipstream whatchamacallit is good. The fucking Snazdaka Wazboom thing is great. They're all great, and the best part of it is I made up 2 of those, and anyone who doesn't play Orks doesn't know which ones. And that's why they're great right now. It's because they're super effective. And who knows what a gyroscopic whirly gig does. But when your opponent gets real salty about the fact that you're teleporting around the board every turn and there's nothing stopping you, they're amazing. The only thing is they do give up Bring It Down, and you're already going to be giving up Thin the ranks, unless if you go full into that. I don't think that that's the way to go, because Eliminator spam is a thing right now. Obviously tell your opponent what your models do, but even with me going, my shock jump dragster, it hits on 3s with its main gun, and it's strength 8 and AP 3 and D6 damage. And they go, okay. And then I do that. Def Captures have, so in 8th edition, at the end of 8th edition, I ran 3 in a brigade, and they were great. Now, because they give up Bring It Down, it's not great, because you're giving your opponent 2 points per. They're great for stuff like Engage. You can get that 3rd front or 4th front on the first turn, which is great. And in later turns, you can just bring one in from outflank, and you're good. The fact that we lost the shock attack gun, the good one, is incredibly sad, and I hope we get it back. It was, if other armies like Space Marines don't get their ability to use all of their special whatever stuff, it's fine. The custom force field should never have been a melee thing. Did I play it in tournaments where it gave me a 5-up invuln to melee? Sure. That's not correct. I think 90 boys is the correct point. I think once you get to 120, I don't know what it is, but my opponent's eyes glaze over, and then they take 3 hours to do a turn. If I have 90 boys, it's enough to do the things that I need to do, and my opponent doesn't slow play against me. I have no idea what that is. I played a Tau player the other day. I had 120 boys, and he just sort of shut down mentally as soon as he saw them placed on the field. He was like, I have no idea how to do. I don't know what to do. There's just too many guys. You have too many models. And it's like, dude, I'm Orks. I'm supposed to be the slow player, not you. I'll be real. IRL, I only own 60. I've been running, on Tabletop Sim, I've been running squads of 30 with 20 Slugachapa, 9 Shooter Boys, and the Knob has a Kill Saw and a Choppa. It's great. That's effective. I'm using the 9th edition Necron Codex, but I haven't played against Necrons really, so I'm putting them at an A tier, and I'm just like, I don't know, I know you offered to play in Tabletop Sim, but I'm going to be honest with you, I really don't want to see that many boys. 90 is just the way you have to do it, and because... I also really think, like, the gun wagon, I could gush on about Orks all day, so I'm gonna do that because fuck it, this is my stream and I get to do what I want. Gun wagon is great. You give it to Boomer, which is the dumbest name upgrade ever, and you can just delete things. It's great. It doesn't seem great, but you put it in the back with some Gretchen in it, and they just hold the thing. They're cool. Yeah. Okay, Boomer. Yeah, that's what I hate about it, is, like, I imagine that when it does its shots, it's just like, dang kids these days. And that's just the sound of the gun going off. Just being like, back in my day, get up on. That's the sound of the gun when it fires. The plane, by the way, fucking great. I own the burner bomber IRL. First off, cool model. Second off, hilarious. You basically would bring it to an IRL tournament. You would show it off to everyone. You would go, here's what it does. You would put it on the table, and then it's gone by the end of turn 1. Whether or not it's your turn or their turn, it's going to be gone. Because if it's your turn, you're going to crash it in the ground. And if your opponent has any brain cells or the ability to actually do anything about it, you're just going to shoot the plane down. Which is super great against Custodes because they do not have any range at all. They have I want to say 24-inch range guns, and if you just deploy your bomber back a bit, then they can't shoot it, and then you crash into all of their 5 models that they brought and do 3 mortal wounds to everything. Can I explain the nudist Custodes? It's if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device meme, and they kind of are like the Pillar Men in a lot of ways, in that they're pretty boys. And they're really high up their own ass about shit. Tau, I feel like, are still paying for sins from 7th edition. And I only started in 8th, but everyone's like, oh, you're a fucking Tau player. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people? It's weird. So now you might be noticing which codex I haven't added to the list yet. And yeah, it's Space Marines. They're great. This is prior to them getting an FAQ, so let me just say that at the time of me speaking, the Dark Angel, and I'm not going to go through which codexes of specific chapters of stuff is the best, though Dark Angels are probably one of the better ones along with Iron Hands. What a fucking surprise. Dark Angel. Okay, hold up. What is the ATV called? My chat doesn't know anything about Warhammer. So, let me show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys a model, okay? All right. Here it is. This is the Primaris Invader ATV. Okay? So in Warhammer, models have different keywords, okay? So, for instance, this is a Space Marine this is a Space Marine thing, right? So it'd be a Space Marine, and it's got Primaris guys on it, so it's Primaris, right? So what do you think other keywords? I'm asking chat because you guys probably don't know, but what keywords would you give this on top of this? It is a Primaris Invader all-terrain vehicle. Infantry. Flying. Weirdo guesses vehicle. You're fucking wrong for no reason whatsoever. It's a bike. Why? I don't know. It's just a bike. GW does not know what a bicycle is. Why? Why is this a bike? Why is this a motorcycle? This isn't a motorcycle. This is an all-terrain vehicle. It should be a vehicle. So let me tell you what the problem with that is if you bring a Dark Angels set, you can bring 5 in a set. I think it's 3 to 5. I forget exactly where it is, but you can bring a bunch of them, right? And they cost fucking nothing, and they have 1 billion shots because Space Marines. And because they have the biker keyword, an apothecary, your chief apothecary can bring one back, and they can have a 4-up invuln. So they can have a 4-up invuln, and you can only wound them on force, and they can do a 6-up shrug, and when one dies, you can bring one back from the dead every turn, and it costs nothing. It's fucking awful. I hate it. If they made that a vehicle, it would solve so many problems, and I'd be okay with them. So what if you had a vehicle that had all of the different gun types, 4 up invuln, 6 up feel no pain, and could come back from the dead for free every turn. And you can only wound it on 4s at best. It's just disgusting. Other Dark Angel stuff, and the reason I call them Gay Marines is because they're a reference to Lionel Johnson's poem Dark Angel, and that their Primarch is called Lionel Johnson. They don't get inner circle or transhuman physiology. Okay, cool. I thought they did. And anyway, Dark Angels, that poem is about like the poet being kind of gay. So it's worth a read. But the fact that they try and hide their little like secret stuff that they fell to chaos, despite the fact that everyone else fell to chaos, like Space Wolves and White Scars almost did. Like I've read Horus Heresy books. Salamanders, I think, are okay. Eliminators are great in Salamanders. Eliminators obviously being the big bugbear, but again, against very specific thing, you will kill whatever you shoot at. You will kill that model very good. It just, they lack the firepower to kill a lot of stuff, which is why Orks end up being as high up as they are, because if you bring Eradicators, you're not gonna be killing too many boys. And that's fine. Despite the fact that you will not have board control either. Space Salamanders, I wouldn't say are the best. I'd say that Dark Angels are probably the best. You know what? Okay, so Dark Angels are going up there. Salamanders are going up there. I think Iron Hands are, because of just the ability for them to repair stuff, and Imperial Fist can go up there too. Weirdly, the ATV has some like synergies with both Iron Hands and them because of the heavy weapons that they've got, and because they're a heavy weapon doctrine thing. They have no synergy with Raven Guard or White. They have a little bit of synergy with White Scars, but it's weird. Deathwatch, I don't know what the fuck is going on with y'all. Ultramarines are okay. I don't really want to rate individual chapters here because... But here's the main thing about Space Marines. I never have to play them. Like, my meta when I play on Tabletop Sim is not Space Marines. I literally switch my list out of having the Scar Boys in my Orc list, because paying 1 CP to get Strength 5 when everything I'm fighting is like Harlequins and demons, and it's like, cool, so I've paid 1 CP, so instead of wounding you on 3s, I wound you on 3s. That doesn't feel good. So it's like, today, right before I streamed this, I ended up running into a Salamanders player, and I had all Death Skulls, and it's fine. The Blade Guard veterans get melted by just enough choppas. But generally speaking, that was because I got first turn, and I was able to get the jump on him, and I don't feel like he was quite as good of a player as me. This tier list is supposed to be like, assuming all things equal. I don't have any idea how Emperor's Children play. Emperor's Children are great. If you're going to run Chaos Space Marines, you just bring a bunch of Noise Marines and you just go crazy. If we were to do a list where it's like, what are the coolest factions? Orcs, then Chaos, then Knights, then everyone else, and then Space Marines. Why is no one playing Space Marines? I think the idea is they are tired of them. They are tired of playing against them. They are tired of playing with them, because they are kind of a boring army to play, in my opinion. I feel like the two people who play Space Marines are people who are very new to competitive, and people who are tryhards. I think if you play in tournaments, you'll probably see Space Marines. I think you'll see probably everything in S and S plus tier here. But Space Marines did get a nerf. Like, their codex was a nerf, like straight up, and it was a good nerf. It was a good nerf for the game. It was incredibly good for the game. But it was really funny to see people going like, hey, does anyone want to play with me? Because like when the Orc Codex comes out, like when I was playing the Orcs, right? I was like, as soon as like we had leaks for the Orc Codex, I was like, hey, I know the Codex isn't out yet, but do you mind if I play with the leaked rules? And everyone was like, cool, cool, cool. But with the Space Marines, even after the book came out, people were like, I'm still playing with the old rules. Is that cool? It's like, get the fuck out of here. You know your book sucks. Get out of here with that garbage. It's more in line. Like when I lose against Space Marines now, I feel like it's like fine. But my human fighter D&D friend always plays his Ultramarines. Yeah. Wow. Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, like the things getting core is a pretty big change for them. The fact that the chapter master rerolls aren't for everything, it's just one thing gets to reroll everything. That's fine. They feel a lot better to play against. I don't see as many people complaining about Space Marines outside of like Eradicators and the ATVs anymore. Just because they're not that bad. Like you can win against them if you're smarter. And that's the thing is like what the one thing I do hate about Space Marines is I don't know if I'm playing someone who's playing their Fluffy Bunny army and they just love Space Marines because the aesthetic and this is their first competitive game they've ever played and here I am ready to kick their teeth in. Versus someone who has been like competitive, like meta chasing every single army they can, and they just, yeah. Can you play Space Marines brain dead? No. You still have to have a little bit of a brain, but you definitely like have an advantage over other people. Like I feel like Space Marines have a fairly significant like they could fairly easily beat stuff 2 tiers or 3 tiers down from them. Do you think Orks will get a new model for the Orc Boys anytime soon? I think so. I think that's probably what they leaked. I'm really excited for that because I'm fine with the old models and everyone's going to sell their models on eBay for nothing. Buy just a fuck ton. Like, I'm going to buy like 30 Orc Boys off of eBay for like $20. It's great. Why do I hate Knights so much? They just suck competitively. They're just bad. They just, they can't play the primaries or the secondaries and they can't shoot anything because they can't see it and they can get shot. But all in all, I feel like the game's in a pretty good spot outside of like Knights. You can probably beat something that's 2 tiers up from you fairly easily if you're like you probably got to try, but you could do it if you were better than the other person. You could beat a Sisters player if you were just a really good Tyranids player, you know? I'm really glad that they fixed Eradicators. The fact that they can't wall hack snipe things anymore, very happy about that. That's great. Because that was bullshit. Because it was be like, okay, well, I'll just hide them. Like, I'll outplay the fact that you can, have this range on me. I'll just put them back. Well, no, they're like 48-inch range and they can shoot through walls. It's like, well, what do I do to stop you from killing me then? Oh, and they do mortal wounds, and so it ignores your invuln. Fuck. That's bad. But they got rid of that. I feel like Space Marines, like when I lose to Space Marines now, like I feel better about it. I played against a very competitive Space Marine player the other day, and I lost, but it felt good. It felt like I deserved to lose because I screwed up a few plays and that kind of thing. But before the Codex came out, I was playing this guy, and we were just having a good time, and he was like, man, I missed 2 shots out of my 30. Well, I get to reroll everything, and I'm like, where am I playing 40K right now with COVID like it is? My local shop is shut down as far as the tables go, so you can't go there and play. But you can play with the tabletop sim on Steam. It's pretty straightforward. There's a few guides online. You just get that, and you join the Discord that's in the thing, and you can just, play. It's why I play lists that I don't own. Like Noise Marines, and I could tell you how they play. I play Drakari. My girlfriend plays Necrons. How fucked up is our relationship? You're fine. I don't. Tabletop Sim, I feel like GW is letting Tabletop Sim like exist under the radar right now. It's been a thing since I started playing, because I started playing on Tabletop Sim, and then I was like, well, you know what? I'll buy a couple models. It'll be fine. I'll just buy one box of boys. My local store is having a kill team thing going on, and they're gonna do narrative. 10 boys, that's not that much, and yeah, I could just buy these 20 boys off eBay for like $20, and you know, and then just fuck, I've got all of these models now. And it allows them to still sell codexes at this point. So yeah. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, argue with me in the comments on this stuff, but I'm right. Except for about Necrons. I don't know about Necrons. Necrons I put up here because people are like, they're good, but I haven't played them enough to really give them a solid ranking. Like I said, I feel like model or units or codexes will go up and down this list. So if like demons get their codex next, they're going to go up probably. You know, they're already pretty good unless if they get nerfed or they screw it up somehow. So they'll probably go, every one of these will probably go up or down 1 or 2 tiers depending. But I think this is pretty much it right now. If you look at the competitive circuit, if you look at the GTs and RTTs that are played right now, it pretty much looks like this. I feel like Tau we could even shuffle this and bring like Tyranids and Gene Stealers down, and we could probably figure out exactly what's supposed to be in B tier versus C tier. I don't know how they're gonna fix Knights. To play them as a mono faction, I don't know how you play Knights in 9th edition. Maybe like they can walk through breachable terrain as if it weren't there. Yeah, I don't know how you fix it, man. I don't think you play mono Knights in 9th. I don't think you can. I think you have to splash other stuff in. And that's about it. Anyway, this was me info dumping about Warhammer. Have I ever played against Tau? I've never played as Tau, but I've played against Tau a few times. I've got a friend who plays Custodes and Tau, and he has pretty much stopped playing Tau. And I've played Tau fairly recently, and like I said, he used that Sunshark bomber strat, and that was pretty good. Any stream after the tier list? Depends on what time it is. I need to start dinner here soon because my wife will be coming home in about an hour. And if I start the food now, then I get to eat it with her, and then I can stream Homestuck at 6 with Aisha. It is currently almost 4 for me, so about 2 hours from now, give or take. I'm going to probably stream some games later. I might be able to come back in a minute to do some other streams, so tentative stick around because I do want to stream some of those games that I've got on nexus.gg. You want to check out my nexus.gg/RevScarecrow. You can get games. They're currently at regular price, which I think is the one issue I have with Nexus right now. But if you buy them here, then I get a cut. And these are games that I recommend. Monster Train, by the way, got an update for Halloween. It's got little reviews for all of them that I wrote, excluding the 2 that I have not played, which is Medieval Dynasty and PC Building Simulator. And I might do PC Building Simulator tomorrow. I might do Insurgency here in a minute. It's a fun game. It feels like the difference between Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike Source. Make the command. I will. You know what? I'll go do that now. And we'll go from there. Squad is extremely hard, and it does frustrate me at times. But yeah. So if you don't have any of these games, or if you don't have some of the expansions, they're the same price as they are on Steam. They give you a Steam key in all of these cases. It's got a little symbol and everything. So you'll get a code for it, and then I get a cut of it. And it's a pretty decent cut. It actually tells you on the website how much a cut. So if you add it, you can go and go to checkout. It says somewhere, apparently. Show more. Okay, actually, I have no idea. They said that there's a place on here where it tells you how much of a cut I get, but anyway. Yeah, Luigi guy just did the link, so I will fix it. It's on the products page? Okay, well, there you go. You see it? I don't. I get 375 for Crusader Kings. It's not a huge amount, but there you go. But anyway, this is my tier list for Warhammer 40k competitive. This is not my opinions on how they are good for how good they are fluff-wise. That's not as much of a concern. You like what you like. I like my orcs. I like my chaos. I like demons. I like knights. They're cool. 40k isn't the year, it's the total price. Tabletop sim. I'm going to see if I can get that on Nexus.gg because it's the game that I recommend constantly. Like, out of the games, like, I think I can look it up right now on how many hours I have in every game. But, Monster Train is in my, like, top 10, I think. But Tabletop Sim, I have, like, 1,000 hours. It's fucking embarrassing how much I play that game. Because I'm just like, I can play Warhammer. See. Yeah, so then, playtime. Yeah, sort by playtime. I have 1,337 hours of Tabletop Sim, 434 hours of Counter-Strike, 314 hours of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, 247 hours of Slay the Spire, 236 of Payday, and it starts going downhill from there. But 120 of My Summer Car. Yeah, I would use Tabletop Sim to test out stuff. Like, you know, save yourself some money on stuff rather than spending all of the money on models and then you go, oh wow, this actually sucks. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and go. If I can stream here in a minute, I will. I'll be coming back with Insurgency, which is like gun shoot with Hardstrong, Murder, Slam. It's great. Anyway, I'll see you guys in just a minute. I'm gonna make sure I set up the oven for food, and then I'll maybe be back. Why don't I go ahead and come back with that, just in case? Because I do want to show it off on stream, so that way I can have like a video of me playing it for the Nexus.gg. And then I'll make sure that works too. Anyway, see you guys.